Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Rupinder Kaur. I have done Masters in Physics from Thapar University, Patiala. Then I gave both IELTS General and Academic. I scored overall 8 band score. And with the skills which I learned during my IELTS journey, I teach IELTS students who struggle to get their desired band score. So today's video is specifically for the international students who want to apply for the temporary public policy which is launched recently by the Canadian government. So according to this policy, as you all know, the students who are right now working, who have completed their studies, they can apply, and also people who have 1 year of Canadian experience. So there is one condition that you should have IELTS band score of CLB4, and I know all the students who work there in Canada, they don't have much time to do IELTS, and moreover, they need very less band score in their IELTS. They have already given IELTS academic in their home country before going to Canada as students, and now they have to give IELTS general. So this is a quick general IELTS prep. That means before giving exam, you should be prepared. Even if you want a very less band score, but even then you should know what you are going to write. So this is the video for those people. So let's get started. Firstly, I will talk about writing. In writing academic, you used to get a graph or any kind of diagram, but in writing general, you will get letter as task one. So a letter will look like this. Firstly, there will be a topic, then there will be three questions on which you are going to write. So without wasting much time, I will come to the format. So there are basically three kind of letters. First is formal, then informal, then semi-formal, right? So we will discuss about all these three. So in informal letter, this is basically the letter which you get from your friends, your relatives, or a very close person to you. So you will get to know about this kind of letter by reading the topic. If it is to any friend or relative, that means it is a informal letter. So you will start a letter by writing dear, then your uh, friends or relatives name. For example, I have written Amrinder. So you should only write first name of your friend or relative if it is informal letter, right? Don't write full name, because usually when we talk to our friends we don't write full name, we only write their first name, right? Then you will leave a line, then you will write the purpose of your letter. Okay, so firstly you will write some general line like I hope everything is fine, I hope you are doing great, I hope you and your family is fine. Then write the purpose like I am just writing to thank you for. So it depend on the question, what is being asked in the question. So then there will be three body paragraphs. These are the paragraphs which should be explanation of these three questions, right? So you will talk about these three questions, answer this question in these three body paragraphs, and you will leave a line after each body paragraph. Then after third body paragraph, you will again leave a line and you will give a last call. This is basically the thing which you want from the other person. Like if you are requesting your friend or family member, so you will say that I hope you will do this, or if the letter is regarding inviting them to your birthday party, so this is the last call, like I hope you will come on my birthday party. So you what you want from the other person, that is written in the last call. Then you will again leave a line, and then you will sign off by saying that see you soon, or I miss you, or best regards, like this. It will be also be according to the purpose of the letter, or you can simply write best regards, right? All the best. So then you will write your first name without leaving a line after the see you soon or best regards, right? You will only use your first name, don't write full name, because when we write letters to our friends or family members, we don't use our full name, right? Then the second type of letter is formal. This is to the people whom we do not know. For example, uh, if I want to get admission in an international college and I'm writing to the uh, head of the college or the principal of college, so I do not know the name of that person, so this will be a formal letter. So I will start with dear sir or madam, right? I won't write the name of the person, then I will write the purpose. It won't start with I hope you are fine, because those are the words lines for the uh, informal letters. You will straight away start with the purpose. I am writing regarding the complaint, or I am writing regarding the admission in your college, right? Then you will explain your three points in these three paragraphs. Then there will be a last call, like hoping for a prompt action from you regarding this matter. Then you will leave a line and write yours faithfully. Always remember that in formal letter you will write yours faithfully. You won't write anything else, right? Then you will write your full name. You will have to write your full name in formal letter at the end. So this is the format. And one more thing, you have to use formal tone in this kind of letter. So I will be attaching a PDF with this video in the description box, so that you can download that PDF and learn some of the lines, or read some of the lines and use them in the formal letter. And you, one thing is must, that you should always be polite in formal letter, even if it's complaint, right? You can't say that give me my money back, otherwise I'll do this or I'll do that. You always have to be polite, right? So I'll attach that PDF, you can download that. The next kind is semi formal format. There are some kind of people who are neither our friends nor our family members. They are not close to us, but we know their names, right? For example, if we are working in a company and there is a boss, and we know the name of the boss, but he is not our friend or relative, right? So in that case, this is a semi-formal format, and basically you will be writing in a formal way, but the starting and the ending will be different, right? So in the starting, in the formal letter, we used to write dear sir. In semi-formal letter, you will write dear Mr. then receiver's last name, right? Dear Mr. Kalsi. That means you are writing receiver's last name. Then you will write the purpose in the same way as it was in formal format. Then you will explain your 3 points. Then there will be a last call, like I hope you will do this, or hoping for a prompt action from your or you regarding this matter, right? So then you will write yours sincerely in semi formal format. In formal you were writing yours faithfully, and in semi formal you will write yours sincerely. Then you will write your full name, right? So learn the starting and ending in all these three kinds of letters. So this is must. From this, the examiner will know that you understood the tone or not, right? So these are some things which you should keep in mind. You have to write 150 words. Remember that. Don't uh, write less than 150 word. You will be penalized for it. So write 150 words. Then you should use appropriate tone, as I have already explained, and do not use contractions such as don't, can't in the formal tone, formal letter, right? You can't use contractions in formal letter. You can use them in informal, like when you write to a relative or friend, you can use contraction, but when you write in a formal way, you don't use contraction. You write it full, do not, cannot, right? And everything should be relevant. The three body paragraphs which you are going to write, they should, each and every sentence in those three paragraphs should be relevant, should be according to what is asked in the question. Then the size of the three body paragraphs should be approximately same, right? uh, then the purpose of letter should be clear. In the starting you should write a clear purpose of the letter. So by doing all these things, you will easily, if you have good grammar, you can easily get good bands in your task 1. Then let's come to the task 2, which is essay. You have already done it in academic test, so it is a kind of revision. So you will write introduction first. In the introduction, you will paraphrase the question and then give answer of the question. For example, it is asked to, if it is asked, do you agree or disagree? Then you will write the answer that I agree or I totally disagree. So before that, you will paraphrase the question and then give the answer of the question. Then you will have 2 body paragraphs. Then at the end you will have conclusion, in which you will only paraphrase the introduction which you have already written. You will paraphrase that in the conclusion, right? And leave 1 line after each paragraph, like after introduction 1 line, then body paragraph, then leave 1 line, then body paragraph 2, then leave 1 line, then conclusion, right? So, firstly, discuss about this kind of essay, which is discuss both views and give your opinion. Firstly, you will write introduction as, because there are 2 opinions given in the question, right? So, you will paraphrase it by telling the first opinion, then the second opinion, right? Some people say this, however, other opine that, right? Then you have to give your answer. You can learn this line for 6 band or 5.5 bands in IELTS, you can learn this line and write as it is. But if you want higher bands like 7 or 8, then I think you should be less flexible. You should not learn anything. So you can learn this line. For CLB4, you can learn this line. This essay shall delve into both the views, but I side with former or the later view. Former is the first view which you have written in your paraphrasing, and the second view is the later one, right? So if you go with the first view, then you will write I side with former view. If you go with the second view, then you will write I go with the later view. I side with the later view, right? Then you will explain others view, like for example, if you are with the former view, you will explain the later view in body paragraph 1, and you will explain your view, that is the former view, in the body paragraph 2, right? Then in conclusion, you will give your opinion again, that I am with this side, right? Don't write anything new in the conclusion. You should always write the things which you have talked about in your paragraphs, right? And your opinion should be same throughout your essay. It should be opinion in the conclusion should be same as the opinion in the introduction. Let's move to the next type of task 2, that is agree and disagree. So you will write introduction. Firstly, you will paraphrase and then you will give your answer, that I totally agree or disagree. If you go with the one side, right? And then you will explain why you agree or why you disagree in both the body paragraphs. Then you will give your conclusion, that I agree or I disagree. This is when you take one side, right? Sometimes what happen is we don't have much point for one side, right? If you have one side, we should have at least 4 points for our essay for one side, but sometimes we do not have time. So what we can do is, you can write like this as well. So in the introduction, firstly you will paraphrase the question. For example, the question is, computer games are very common these days and it has adverse effect on children. Do you agree or disagree, right? You paraphrase the question, and when you started thinking about the points, you don't have much points for either side, right? So what you will do is, you will give your answer by saying that while there may be some benefits of playing computer games, I opine that it is detrimental for children. So this means that in the essay you will also talk about benefits, but you are with the opinion that it is harmful for children. So only do this kind of thing when you don't have much point. And I know that the person who have not practiced writing, they do not have much points in their test. So you can use this trick to write your task. Then the next type is, do the advantages outweigh disadvantages? In the same way, you will first paraphrase your question, then you will write your opinion, that advantages are more than the disadvantages, or disadvantages are more than the advantages, right? And the thing which you say, that it is more, you will write that in body paragraph 2. For example, if I say that advantages are more, I will write that in body paragraph 2, and the thing which is less, I'll write that in body paragraph 1. Then in the conclusion, I will write my opinion that advantages are more or disadvantages are more than the advantages, right? Then the next type is it positive or negative development, right? In this also, try to take one side, try to say that it is totally a positive or it is totally a negative, and in that case you will only have to write about one side, right? It is a positive, then you will have to explain that in your both body paragraphs, that why it is positive development. And if you say that it is negative development in your introduction, then you will have to explain that in your body paragraph, that why it is a negative development. Then you have to write your opinion in the conclusion. But if you do not have uh, adequate amount of points for one side, again you can do this. You can write in your topic answer in the introduction, after paraphrase you can write that while there may be some advantages of this, however, I find that it is overall a negative development. That means you are going to one side, but you are also discussing the other side, right? While there may be advantages, but I find that it is a negative development. So you will discuss those some advantages in body paragraph 1, and you will discuss the disadvantages or negative side, and or you will explain why it is a negative development in body paragraph 2, right? Then you will write your opinion in the conclusion again, that it is a overall a negative development for me, right? So the next type is two question type. It can be anything like problem solution, cause consequence. Two, there can be any two random question. The format is really simple. Uh, Firstly, you will paraphrase the question as we do in every kind of essay. Then you will write your topic answer. In the topic answer, don't start discussing about the problem or solution in your introduction. In the introduction, firstly paraphrase the question statement, and then say that if it is a problem solution, then say that this issue uh, will cause many problems. However, there can be some measures which can be taken to rectify it. If it is cause solution, then say that this issue happened due to number of reasons. However, it can be rectified by taking some measures. If it is cause consequences, then say that there are many causes due to which this issue happens. However, there are some repercussions or negative results of this, right? Do not write negative results or causes. Do not write cause or solution. Just say that there are some causes and there are some solutions. There are some causes and there are some consequences, right? In the same way, you will answer the two random questions. It can be anything. So in the body paragraph 1, you will answer the first question. In body paragraph 2, you will answer the second question. And then you will summarize both of these answers in your conclusion. This is the simple format of this kind of essay. Then we will discuss about speaking. The speaking test is exactly same as you have given in your academic test. Firstly, there will be introduction, which will be the questions about yourself, like what kind of jeans you like to wear, uh, do you like to do exercise, right? It can be about your hometown, it can be about your education. Then there will be cue card, for which you will be given 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to talk. Make sure that you prepare in 1 minute, you write something on the paper which they will give, so that they know, examiner come to know that you have not done criming. So in the 2 minutes you will have to talk, and then there will be follow-ups related to the cue card. uh, Here are some tips which I would like to give. Do not do self repetition or self correction, right? Do not repeat yourself and do not correct yourself. And do not take pauses. Long pauses should be avoided. You can take bit pauses where you want to think something or where you are thinking about any idea, but do not take long pauses. and try to use some vocabulary words. If you have some time in your exam, you can see my video uh, in my channel, and which is about some common vocabulary, like the common words which we use in our day-to-day life. So do not stop speaking in cue card section until examiner asks you to stop. Okay, so you will have to talk for 2 minutes, and if you have not done any preparation, then you do not know, you do not have any idea when the 2 minutes will be get completed. So only stop when the examiner asks you to stop in the cue card, and try to keep follow-up answers long, right? Introductions can be short, it can be of 2 to 3 lines, right? Keep follow-up long. You can give examples in the follow-up, you can talk about the other side, you can compare present with the past, right? So like this you can keep your answers long and keep it relevant. Do not talk about irrelevant things, you should keep it relevant, right? Okay, then let's come to listening. Listening is also same as academic text. There will be 4 sections, and you will get 10 minutes to transfer your answers in the end, right? And then, as you all know, for listening, concentration is the key. You will have to concentrate what the speaker is saying. And when you are given some time to look at the questions, or you are given some time in between to check your answers, use that time to anticipate the answers, right? Read the question and try to think what can be the answer of this question, right? Understand all the questions in the time which is given. Don't look here and there. And listen for singulars and plurals. Most of the students do this mistakes. For example, if the speakers say books and you write book on your answer sheet, it will be wrong. Take care of that, right? Then transfer your answers carefully in capital letters, because capital letters are easily readable. And make sure that you are transferring on listening side, because most of the students, when they are nervous, they sometimes transfer on the wrong side. So make sure that you are transferring on the listening side, right? Then let's talk about reading. In reading, you will have 3 parts. There will be 40 questions. It is a bit different from the academic reading. In academic reading, you used to get 3 long passages, and there were approximately 10 to 11 questions in each passage, right? But in general reading, first two passages will be divided into 2 sub passages. Means in first part there will be 2 small passages, and there will be 4 to 5 questions in single sub passage. Then there will be part 2. Again, there will be 2 sub passages, and there will be 5 to 6 questions in each sub passage, right? Then the third part will be single passage, as you used to get in your academic test, right? So, time management is the key in your reading. Your third passage will be the most difficult passage among the 3 passages, right? So, you will have to allocate more time to your third passage. You can allocate 15 minutes for passage 1, 15 minutes for passage 2. That means these are total 30 minutes. And you should allocate at least 20 minutes for your last passage, because it is the difficult one. Then allocate 10 minutes for transferring answers and revisiting doubtful answers. Whenever you find any question difficult, mark that, and in the end, you can revisit that question and answer that. Here are some tips for reading. So, mark the keywords in the question first. Whenever you start doing a passage, firstly read the questions, mark the keywords, and then skim and scan the passage for the location of the keywords, right? And then answer your question. You can do this for any kind of question except the heading question, because in the heading you will have to read the whole paragraph to get out the essence of the paragraph and then mark the heading. And in the section 1 and 2, you are going to get a lot of fill ups, right? So do keyword matching for the fill-ups. And most of the students get confused between false and not given. They easily get the answer of true, but when they have to decide between false and not given, then they are in dilemma. So there is a trick. Whenever you read the question, you can think about the opposite statement of the question, right? If they are saying, it is a simple kind of example, if they are saying uh, the mobile is of black color, right? Then in your mind, make the opposite of it. Mobile is not of black color. Then try to search in the passage. If in the passage opposite is given exactly, or opposite can be indirectly understood, right, from the passage, then mark false. For example, if the in the passage if they say that mobile is of black color, right, then you will mark false, otherwise it is not given, right? Then for the heading, read the starting few lines of the paragraph carefully. You will get your appropriate answer from that. And again, transfer in capital letters for reading as well. This is the end. And I would say, if you have uh, even if you have 5 days or 6 days or 10 days in your exam, practice Cambridge 11 to 15 IELTS general books. Download IELTS general books from the internet. These are easily available. You can also buy them, and you can practice these. In each book there are 4 practice tests, right? And then you can read Simon's writing tasks, right? Task 1 and task 2 both. And then you can download Muckerd IELTS speaking booklet. You will have 60 to 70 cue cards in that booklet. And this books keep changing after every 4 months, so make sure that you are reading the cue cards from the latest book. Right now, January to April, one is available, and in the May month it is going to get changed. So make sure that you have downloaded or you have bought the recent one. You can download it from Muckerd IELTS official website, right? So this is the end of my video. If this video helped you in any way, please subscribe my channel and like my video. If you have any doubt regarding my video, you can comment in the comment section. And if you want this video in any other language, like in Punjabi or Hindi, you can also comment in the comment section. I'll make another video in some other language. All the best to all of the students. Bye.